My name is Debra Rohr, and I'm a volunteer at the Sojourner Center. I've been volunteering there for quite a while now, and my biggest responsibility is going through the stuff that people donate, and I put it out on the floor. I just love doing that. I volunteer here because it's rewarding to me to see I've made a difference in someone's life. I'm the mother of some teenage twins. My son plays basketball. Now my daughter, she's hoping to be an engineer. I'm always busy with both of them. My life today is very fulfilling, but it wasn't always that way. I was in my situation for 20 years. We were always fighting. We got into such a big fight. He gave me the worst black eye I've ever had. Sure, he was sorry the next day, but I didn't care. I mean, there had been a million things like that. I just made up my mind that I was done. It was very, very abusive. Not only for myself, but for my kids. I had to get them out of there. I just couldn't have it anymore, but I didn't know where to go.
Sojourner Center is an important service in the domestic violence community here in metropolitan Phoenix. They're a large shelter. They have a myriad of programs and a really excellent daycare on site. They have provided transitional housing and other services with tremendous quality.
When I finally reached out to Sojourner Center, I was so overwhelmed with the fact that I was even leaving.
Sojourner Center has focused on the folks who are needing assistance getting out of an abusive relationship safely, because that is the most dangerous time.
When I finally came here, they showed me to my room. It was perfect. I mean, it didn't matter where I went. It was just that he wasn't going to find me here. There was a place for my kids, and there was so many kids here. They made friends right away. Once your kids are happy and you are happy, it doesn't matter. I mean, I had nothing. I left everything, and I still was happy.
Debra was a woman that was a survivor before she walked into our doors. She made a choice to leave her home. She was dealing with a lot of loss. So she really came to us at her lowest.
As time went by, you know, you actually see yourself growing. You actually see yourself getting better.
She had grown from being somebody who was basically told to not say anything to somebody who could speak, you know, her mind in a healthy way.
I found a place where I could eat in peace and I could do all the things I wanted to do with my kids.
One of the main things that we notice in people's transformation is that when they first come in and you ask them, like, what are your strengths? They don't know. Debra was a person who could express her strengths. She was able to identify the abuse she went through, empowering herself to take action on the things that she could.
I had domestic violence classes, and I said, well, you know, I can't really believe that this was domestic violence. And the lady that was teaching it was like, why can't you believe that? And I said, well, we were just fighting. And she gave me something to read. Oh man, it was like reading about him. Oh my God, it was like, oh my God. It was like they wrote that book about him. And half of us were married to the same guy, you know, it hurt.
Instead of looking at what's the pattern of an abusive situation, because sometimes people feel like, oh, well, there was red flags. And as a victim, you may feel like it's my fault because I didn't catch those red flags.
Now that I look back on my life with him, there's so many warning signs that I should have known.
Domestic violence is not the victim's fault. And we are here just to support them in learning new coping skills and being able to address ways that trauma has impacted their life.
I think we're doing really well now that I've had a chance to look at my life and see how distorted I was living and just how badly I had it.
One of the main changes that we saw in Debra's family is the work she did with her children. She was a very loving mother. She was also very determined to help her children grow, to be strong people, to be something different than what she had experienced herself. You could see the children attending the groups changing their own behavior to where they were able to live together and not be fighting all the time.
Our Child Development Center is a very unique program. We look at the way that domestic violence has impacted not only the child, but the family unit. A critical part of that family unit is the relationship with mom. So there's a large focus on that program of working on attachment and making sure that when that family leaves, they have the tools and the skills to continue a life free from violence.
My daughter still comes to me, problems that she's having at school as far as boys, and it means a lot. I know that they're both going to have an educated life as far as domestic violence goes. Hopefully, neither one of them will ever make a mistake.
At that time, I was fortunate enough to teach an adolescent support group on site. And this is a group that's designed to support children who have experienced domestic violence. It's an opportunity to talk about it with peers of their age. After coming for a couple of weeks, I remember her daughter getting to a place where she felt very comfortable to ask some of those vulnerable questions. That was a really big breakthrough because it allowed us to know the importance of this group, how it supported her in healing. Not long after that, she really emerged as a leader in our girls group, began to support other children who were coming into shelter and answering questions that they had. And so even after the family left shelter, I still remember the legacy of her daughter remaining in our group.
I was surprised that it had such an effect on her. I would have thought that my craziness would have resulted in something like that with her. We're just 1,000 times better. And the relationship that I have with my kids today is not one that I thought I would ever have. For the women that are out there putting up with domestic violence, there is a place that you can go that you truly want to be better. They will help you. And just to know that when you are actually surrounded by people that are going through, you're going through, it was a relief, to know that you're not the only one going through that.
As a subsidiary of JFCS, Sojourner Center is able to realize efficiencies that allow them to be strong going into the future, to do what they do best, which is to serve victims and survivors of domestic violence.
We have been serving women and children and individuals impacted by domestic violence for over 40 years.
If there was no place like Sojourner Center, I don't know where my life would be.
If this place wasn't here, those women that have gone through our doors would not have been given the opportunity and the resources and skills to move forward in their lives.
The 2.5 years that I did spend here, it was all worth it. So working at the donation center is where I'm comfortable because when I needed them the most, they were there.